We celebrate today the feast of St. John the Evangelist. St. John is the author of what is known as the fourth gospel. It was the gospel written after the synoptic gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and according to many scholars, written in around the year 100 CE or 100 the Common Era. John's Gospel is made up of 21 chapters. The first part of John's Gospel, the beloved disciple is never present. The beloved disciple is present only from chapter 13 onwards, when Jesus washes the feet of his disciples, and from then onwards begins what is known as the long passion discourse of the Gospel of John. John's is the only Gospel of all the four to have two whole chapters which are dedicated to the resurrection of Jesus. In the Gospel text chosen for the feast of the Evangelist, we will read about what is known as the empty tomb episode in the Gospel of John. Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb because she wants to sit outside it and mourn for her Lord. But even as she nears the tomb, she sees the stone rolled back and runs and tells the beloved disciple and Peter they have taken the Lord out of the tomb. Even though Mary has not looked into the tomb, Mary has only seen from outside that the stone has been rolled back. She makes a judgment. Often, like Mary, we too make judgments based only on the externals. It is true that Mary's statement is correct that the Lord is not in the tomb, but it is also not true that someone has taken the Lord away. We need to be careful when we make judgments, and especially about people. In the case of Mary, it wasn't so bad because the Lord was not there, and it was not on the character of a person that Mary made her judgment. But we need to be careful about our judgments, especially when we do not possess all the facts. The best way to proceed in such a case is to avoid making a judgment until we are in full possession of the facts, and even then, if we really have to make a judgment, to be as positive as we can. As soon as Mary communicates to Peter and the beloved disciple, they run toward the tomb. And we are told that the beloved disciple reached the tomb first because he ran faster than Peter. Out of deference for Peter, however, he only peeped into the tomb from outside, did not enter the tomb, allowed Peter, who came later, to enter the tomb first. As Peter went in, the beloved disciple followed him, and Peter was able to see that the cloths in which Jesus was buried were left behind. And then we are told, the beloved disciple saw the same cloths and he believed. What did he believe? He believed that Jesus had left death behind. Grave robbers who were prevalent at the time of Jesus would steal not the body, they would steal the cloths, because they would be able to sell them then in the marketplace. So very clearly, grave robbers had not stolen the body, had not stolen the cloths, because the cloths were left behind. In the case of Jesus, it was not the body which was left behind, but the cloths. In other cases, the cloths would be taken and the body left behind. So when we are told in the text of today that the beloved disciple saw and he believed, we are told that he believes that Jesus has left death behind. In John chapter 11 verse 44, when Jesus brings Lazarus out of the tomb, Lazarus comes out of the tomb wearing the cloths which had been used to wrap his body, also wearing the cloths used to wrap his head. The reason why Lazarus brings the cloths out is because Lazarus will die again. And when Lazarus dies again, he will require the cloths for his burial. But because Jesus will never die again, because Jesus has left death behind, the cloths have been left behind. This is what the beloved disciple believes. We are not told about the belief of Peter. We are not told about the belief of Mary Magdalene. We are only told about the belief of the beloved disciple. The beloved disciple then indicates that he is open to the revelation that God will make. That there is no need for him to completely understand with his mind all that is taking place, because his heart is the place in which his faith rests. And so today, on the feast of St. John the Evangelist, we are called to the same faith. A faith which invites us to believe not only the things we see, but a faith which invites us to believe even before we see and even when we cannot see. The beloved disciple, represented by John, revealed his experience of Jesus by writing a gospel. How will you reveal your experience of Jesus? You are writing a gospel, a chapter each day, by the things that you do and the words that you say. People read what you write, whether false or true. Now, what is the gospel according to you? A happy feast of St. John the Evangelist.